Let's rewind the clock back to 2019. COVID was an alien concept for Indians. The last war that India fought was Kargil, and India got knocked out of the World Cup. Yes, the run out still hurts. So what else came out in 2019? The Yamaha XSR 155. Indian bikers were waiting anxiously for Yamaha to get this motorcycle to our country, and we did get one the FZX, a forgettable motorcycle. But in 2025, Yamaha finally got us the XSR 155, and Indian bikers have been waiting for this bike because the R15 and the MT15 were manufactured in India. Yes, the XSR 155 is late to the party, but can it spoil the party for its rival? And more importantly, is it a party that you can skip? One of the main reasons for Indian bikers to get excited for the XSR 155 was its styling. Neo-retro was a term which was very popular among bikers. While Yamaha calls it retro sport, whatever the nomenclature be, there is no denying the fact that the XSR 155 is a beautiful looking motorcycle. First up, you get this nice circular headlight, it gets an LED unit, looks properly retro. I particularly like this aluminium bracket over here, gives it that premium touch. The mudguard is chopped. On this blue color, you get this golden upside down fork, gives the nice contrast to the motorcycle. Even the fuel tank shape is nice and long, again very retro, a bit scrambler-like in its appeal. What is also scrambler-like in its appeal is the flat bench seat with this ribbed finish. Looks very retro, looks very nice. There is also a short panel over here with the Yamaha branding and this aluminium bracket. The exhaust muffler, it's a bit chunky. I don't think so it goes well with the overall design, but yeah, whatever, it is there. And the tail section is my favorite design element is the periscope type LED tail light. Looks very cool, looks very retro, and it gets all LED lighting. So in terms of the visuals, the XSR 155 is a very beautiful looking motorcycle, and that is the key reason why people were so excited for this bike. So in terms of styling, it has that visual appeal. In fact, even during the shoot, wherever we were going, it grabbed a lot of attention. So yeah, the styling of the motorcycle is on point. So how's the quality of the XSR 155? First up, the switchgear quality. The switchgear quality is at best decent. I'm not a very big fan of this horn button, which is placed where normally an indicator would be placed. I don't know why Yamaha has done it. So when you're in a panic situation, you don't want to show the indicator, you want to alert the rider or the driver in front of you. So that is something that you need some time getting used to. The tank panel quality is good. The seat looks very firm and nice. Only one thing I didn't like is the center panel, which looks a bit flimsy. But compared to the MT15, the quality of the XSR 155 is much better. Even the weld qualities on the motorcycle is very good, very premium. So in terms of fit and finish, this is much better than the MT15. So good job, Yamaha. Moving on to features, and the XSR 155 takes its retro badging a bit too seriously. You get a round LCD instrument console, which reads out the basic information one needs and also shows you real-time fuel consumption. There is also a traction control system, but I never felt its intervention. And you also get a dual-channel ABS. What it misses out on is the quick shifter as seen on the R15, and it also doesn't get navigation. So let's talk about performance. The engine is the same unit that we have seen on the MT15 and the R15. It is a high revving motorcycle engine. The nature that I really liked is the low end performance of this engine, because you can ride this motorcycle in third gear in city traffic without much effort. In fact, this motorcycle can chug at speeds around 20 kph in third gear. So in terms of tractability, it is there. And when I talk about performance, as I mentioned before, this is a high revving engine. So the whole power band kicks in around 6000 RPM. So you have to really rev this motorcycle to extract that performance. But once you cross 6000, 7000 RPM, the XSR 155 comes to life. It has a good punchy performance, keeps you going, feels very exciting to ride. And talking about engine refinement, it is also good. Yes, you feel a bit of a buzz at speeds around 100, 105 kph, which is around 7000 RPM. but the engine vibes aren't very harsh. So in terms of pure performance, yes, it is good for tractability in city riding and also is a decent performer in terms of highway performance. Yes, the outright acceleration isn't there that you expect from a motorcycle in this segment, say like an RTR 160 or an RTR 200 for that matter. And yeah, in terms of performance, it is decent, not bad, feels very refined at city speeds. Now, the main question, how fuel efficient it is. In our efficiency test, the motorcycle written does 44 kilometers per liter. Now, let me be clear, we don't do hypermiling over here. At Acko Drive, what we do is we ride a motorcycle how you would ride or I would ride in real world conditions. So on the open street, I'm going hard on the gas. Most of the running was in the city, not very high traffic, but most of the city running was in traffic. So 44 kmpl from this engine is very, very impressive. And I think Yamaha engineers have done a good job. What is not a good job is the fuel tank capacity. It is much lower compared to its rivals at just 10 liters. So you're looking at a range of 400 to 450 kilometers on a full tank. But this 44 kmpl I think can be better with your riding, because if you go easy on the gas, maybe you can extract around 50 kmpl, which for a 155cc sporty commuter is a very good number. So let's check out the ergonomics of the new XSR 155. First up, the seat height. In comparison to its rivals, it is on the taller end at 810 mm. But as you can see, I can easily flat foot. I am 5 feet 10 tall, weigh around 100 kg. For me, the seat height is very comfortable. One of the key reasons for that is how narrow the motorcycle is, and I think even for shorter riders, the XSR 155 won't be much uncomfortable. Second aspect is the riding posture. You get a nice flat wide handlebar similar to the one we have seen on the MT15. Even the foot peg is rear set. So the riding posture, if you can see, for your upper body is slightly canted forward, but not overly sporty. So it is kind of sporty and comfortable. But because the foot peg is rear set and slightly on the taller side, for shorter riders, the riding posture can feel a bit cramped. And talking about the seat comfort isn't the best out there. Looks cool, but the cushioning isn't great. So after doing say 100 km, you feel a bit of pain in your bum. And even for the pillion, the space is a bit less. So yeah, there won't be much space between you and the pillion. But what I really like on this motorcycle is the curb weight. The XSR 155 is even lighter than the R15 and the MT15, and compared to its rival, as you can see on the screen right now, it has a very good weight advantage. So if you want to move this motorcycle around in the parking lot, feels very light and very nice. One more aspect is the ground clearance. Yes, 170 mm is decent enough for a ground clearance, but the fact that it doesn't get a main stand is a bit of a bummer. The chassis is the same delta frame as seen on the R15 and the MT15, which means the XSR 155 feels super agile and nimble. Riding through traffic is an effortless task given how quick the steering of the bike is. Another aspect which helps in the handling of the bike is its low curb weight, as the XSR 155 is very lightweight. Even if you want to corner fast, the chassis feels very balanced and gives the rider a lot of confidence. However, the good handling dynamics comes at the cost of comfort. While the ride quality isn't very stiff, the ride is hard, and over broken roads or potholes, you can feel the jolt. The ride quality is firm in comparison to the new Hunter 350 and the Ronin. Moving on to brakes, the disc brakes offer you good bite and feedback through the lever, and the stopping prowess of the XSR 155 is on point. So it's time for verdict, and in isolation, the XSR 155 is an impressive motorcycle. Looks smashing, the performance is right up there, and the chassis gives it a proper fun and nimble handling. But these were the good points of this motorcycle. There are a lot of negatives, starting with the price. At 1,50,000 rupees ex-showroom, it is very uncomfortably close to its rivals like the TVS Ronin and the Royal Enfield Hunter 350, and it is not gonna spoil their party. First up, the Hunter 350 with the updates is a much improved motorcycle with respect to its suspension and the slipper clutch, making it easier to ride. Even the Ronin has improved over the years, so again for the XSR 155, its task is cut out. Now the other problem for this motorcycle is, had this bike launched say 3 years or 4 years back, it would have made some kind of an impact, because at that point of time, there was a demand for such kind of a motorcycle. But in company of its rivals, the XSR 155 feels out of place. Having said that, you want a motorcycle which looks smashing, has that old school vibe going for it, want something which is lightweight, the XSR 155 does make sense. Having said that, I think its rivals offer you something which is much more better than this Yamaha.